More than 2 million people live in Gaza, and at least 90% of them have been displaced from their homes in the year since Israel launched its war in Gaza after the October 7th attacks by Hamas. Those numbers according to the UN. One of those Palestinians is that man you saw there, Shaban Ahmed al-Dalu, who you just heard from in the video. Today is Shaban's 20th birthday. And a bunch of folks around the world got to know him through his posts on social media, on Instagram and YouTube. In addition to studying computer science and English, which he speaks quite well, Shaban would post photos of himself playing the guitar. He had dreams of studying abroad to become a doctor. He would volunteer in an open-air Palestinian medical clinic. And he even organized, like a lot of Palestinians have, he organized a GoFundMe campaign to raise the money that might secure his family's travel to safety in Egypt, something that's extremely expensive and extremely difficult to come by in the Gaza Strip. When the war began last year, he and his family of 7, you see them there, they fled their home in Gaza City. And as you heard him say, they had to move at least 5 times since then. There's been bombing and airstrikes and violence in all different regions throughout the Strip. So most recently, they had finally settled outside the Al-Aqsa hospital, but there were no shelters. So Shaban built one for his family.
I'm taking care of my family as I'm the oldest. I have 2 sisters and 2 little brothers and my parents. We live in a very hard circumstances, suffering from various things such as homelessness and limited food and extremely limited medicine. And the only things between us and the freezing temperature is this tent that we constructed by ourselves.
Now, this is one story of hundreds of thousands, right, that folks that have had to do this. And even in the tent camp, Shaban continued his studies. He often walked around outside to find an internet signal. And amid the just ghastly conditions and the constant shortages of food and medicine, he even donated his own blood to help the injured. 11 days ago, Shaban would require medical assistance of his own. He was injured in an Israeli airstrike on his mosque that's near the hospital. And in that strike, he suffered a head wound that required 11 stitches, his family said. He was recuperating in their tent on Monday when, for at least the 6th time this year, an Israeli airstrike targeted the hospital where Shaban and his family were staying. They were staying right outside it. I want to warn you, the images that follow are really disturbing. Witnesses captured the inferno outside the hospital after that airstrike. NBC News confirmed that the strike killed 5 people and it injured dozens more as the fire spread through a bunch of the structures that were out there. And the dead included Shaban. What you see here are the last moments of Shaban al-Dalu's life as he burned alive in his family's tent, an IV line still attached to his body. NBC News confirms his mother also died in that fire. The Israeli military said it executed a precise strike on terrorists, their words, operating in a, quote, command and control center next to the hospital. On his GoFundMe page, Shaban wrote, "My life has been turned upside down by the unyielding bombings and shelling. Once brimming with aspirations, I now face the harsh reality of displacement and uncertainty. In Gaza, dreams go to die. Each displacement leaves behind another fragment of our shattered souls. Time feels like it's stopped in Gaza, and we're stuck in a never-ending nightmare." That young man should have celebrated his 20th birthday today. Instead, the world became a witness to his violent death in a video depicting the endless horrors in Gaza, horrors that, whether we like it or not, our government and our weapons are facilitating day after day until something changes.